their list or actually this was actually yesterday, I want to say. They came out with their list, the 10 most complete rosters in the NFL. So I click on it. I'm curious. I'm like, okay, it worked. I'm here on your website. I clicked on it. Are the Broncos inside of the top 10 for NFL.com the way that they were for Pro Football Focus? Eagles number 1. Ravens number 2. Lions number 3.
All right.
Kansas City number 4. Buffalo number 5. Vikings number 6. Bucks number 7. Packers number 8. Niners number 9. And the Denver Broncos at number 10.
And they had the Niners still, huh?
They had the Niners still.
That's an interesting one.
I agree.
There's a lot of missing pieces now with the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan. But when you have Brock Purdy, who's been there for a long time, you have Christian McCaffrey, you still have a defense.
Trent Williams.
Robert Saleh is the defensive coordinator over there. I mean, you still have a chance. So where's top 10, though?
Top 10 from a completely separate outlet. And I think that this is becoming a kind of consensus. You know, when you have these two mega outlets, NFL.com, Pro Football Focus, and they're agreeing. One had them at 9, one had them at 10, and it's all the same teams that PFF had. It's all actually the first couple are in the same order. Eagles were number 1, Ravens were number 2.
At some point, you have to obey your eyes. You have to be honest and truthful with yourself, because if you're not, then you're looked at as a hater, or you're not going to be a credible source at some point if you're not telling the truth about what a roster looks like, what some of the strengths are in that roster. The Denver Broncos are well put together now.
They are.
And it has taken time. But Sean Payton, who has done it with the Saints, is doing it with the Denver Broncos now. And that's why all of us are excited, because you have the quarterback that you can hope stay healthy. And he's our franchise quarterback, guys. Get used to it. You added a tight end. You drafted now a running back. You have a receiving core that's still put together, and you're adding pieces with that. Defense looks great. So, you have to be able to respect what Sean's doing and what the Denver Broncos look like, and then they had a successful year last year. Simple.
And when you bring up last year, that's what this is based off of. It's last year, and then forecasting the new additions this year and what it looks like. And what I don't think is or has been talked enough about, and I'm in this camp too, is that the Broncos did what they did a year ago, Phil, absorbing the largest dead cap in the history of the sport. How crazy is that? The Broncos had their best year in nearly 10 years. And it was at the same time as they were taking the largest dead cap on in the history of pro football. And you remember they split it up and they took the larger hit last season.
And we were like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? You need help. But for Sean and George, if they're on the same page, which they were, it's like draft and develop. Get a couple players from free agency that we can afford that can come in and help us out. Stick to the game plan, our motto, what we do best, and let these players grow. And that's one thing that we were at OTAs last week, and I was talking to somebody that's close to Sean, and he said one thing Sean is great at is getting his team to believe in themselves, getting his team to believe that they're better than even they think they are.
Yeah.
And that right there, that's a trait that a lot of people don't have.
It's almost like a college coach. How can you get young men to believe in themselves in a way that they don't currently?
It starts with confidence.
Yeah.
It starts with having a resume saying, I did this before. And you guys are the same as some of these players that I dealt with. Trust me. It comes to trust. And Sean has his team believing and trusting in the process. And now look at us. We're talking about a team that can win 11, maybe 12 games if things go their way. We're talking about a team that can win a playoff game.
Yeah.
We're talking about a team that can win the division this year if they can stay healthy and they are who we think they are. That's what you're looking at, and it's all because of Sean and knowing Sean has done this before, and Sean has been in tough games, and Sean has won a Super Bowl, and he's been to multiple playoff appearances. So now it's like all of us are believing. The fan base is believing because Sean's putting it out there, and he did it with not having a lot of money to use last year.
It's incredible. And you just jogged my memory on something.
That's what I do.
I shared it a year ago, and I forgot about it. But we were out it was training camp, I want to say, at the beginning of last summer, and speaking to someone from the Broncos who said, he was quoting someone else. This person that works for the Broncos was quoting someone else. He said, you know what someone inside the building told me? He said, great coaching shows up in year 2, not in year 1. When you're in year 1 and you're trying to clean up the mess of Hackett and you're doing inventory on like what you actually have, that's not the time for great coaching to shine through. Now you can maybe make some corrections or like try to establish like a new culture physically.
That's
and
what
stuff.
you're trying to do.
That's what you're trying to
do. Start a new culture.
And they did in that first year. Even with Russ, they were 8-9, right?
Yeah,
they're 8-9. That was more wins than the Broncos had won.
One game away from the playoffs.
One game away from the playoffs, but it really started to improve in year number 2, where it's like, okay, this team is now in Sean's image, and now as we go into year number 3, I mean,
what does it look like?
What does it look like? And again, I don't want to get carried away, but we got our guy Will Peterson from DenverSports.com saying, take the kid gloves off. This team can go win a Super Bowl. Now, I don't know if I'm there with Will right now, but you no longer get thrown out of the bar for suggesting that the Denver Broncos should be a part of those conversations.
Well, they need to be. That's the standard now. The standard is to get to
standards
the playoffs.
The Super Bowl?
No. The standards
okay.
the standards are to get to the playoffs and have a chance to win a Super Bowl. I'm not saying the standards to win it. It's hard to do. But we shouldn't come here after this year's done saying we missed the playoffs. No. It should be we won a playoff game. And we're looking good because you have the pieces. You have the defense to do it. You have the coaching staff that has stuck together. And so now it's not a new offensive coordinator. It's not a new defensive coordinator. It's the same plays. You're just adding to it. Now you have these young players like Bo Nix and Vele that need to take that next step, and they will because they're going to be more comfortable. And they will because Sean's going to put them in better situations because Sean is growing as a Denver Broncos head coach. Because it's different than being the Saints head coach because you have different players, a different mindset. With the Saints, you had a lot of older players. With the Denver Broncos, a lot of young players. And young and hungry is very dangerous.
That's what Sean said.
And that's what Sean's living by. A young team that's going to stick together. That what do you like to call it? The connective tissue.
Yeah.
Organically, it's just connecting together because you have a bunch of kids or young players. I don't want to be disrespectful. Young players that are trying to do one thing, and that's win, compete, and show Sean that they deserve to be in this spot long term, like longer than 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and you talk about the continuity. This is the first time in nearly a decade the Broncos will return the same offensive coordinator, same defensive coordinator, same head coach, and same quarterback. Isn't that insane?
That's crazy, but you know what? That's success now. You're going to see success because of that. Having the same faces around, same mindset, and growing together.
Totally.
That's what you're looking for.
Totally. And I'm pretty darn sure it was the 2014 to 15 was the last time that all those same moving parts returned together.
That's a long time ago.
That's insane.
Long time ago.
That is insane.
It's been a long time coming.
Well, here we are.
Here we
are. Reading this piece from NFL.com, who came out with a list of the 10 most complete rosters, and the Broncos were inside of that 10 at exactly 10th overall. They said the doubts that they have, and they did this for every team, but it's like some doubts that they have. They said, caution yourselves on Bo Nix, guaranteed to take a step in year number 2. All right? And they also said the skill position players on offense are the potential weakness of this team.
The skill position, not just like one position in general, just like the whole skill group?
I actually think that's fair to say.
Do you?
Yeah, I think so.
See,
to have some doubts about it, to have some...
No doubt. Have doubts. Have your doubts. It's never a lock. This is football. These are sports. You can get hurt. The one day you're there, the next day you're not. Like, I understand that. But as long as Bo Nix stays healthy, I can't see him taking a step back because of what Sean has brought in with Evan Ingram, with having Cortland Sutton back, in continuing to build that chemistry, with having one of the best offensive damn lines in the NFL. I wish I would have had that, man. They protect the hell out of Bo Nix, and Bo Nix gets that ball out of his hands fast. That's what's going to help him get better.
It's a good combination. That O-line
Great combination.
And Bo getting it out quick.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now for Bo, don't force things that are not there. Don't sit here and listen to the media and feel like you have to prove yourself again. Just stick with what Sean once done and then make plays when you need to make them.
Yeah.
Simple. Hard to do, but simple.
Well, in terms of just playing devil's advocate,
Bring it on.
If we're talking about, like, okay, what is a potential weakness of this team? The running back.
For sure.
It's a total forecast. And we act like, and I get caught up in it too, and don't get me wrong, I believe RJ Harvey is going to be great out of the gate. But, it wouldn't be the first time that I would be wrong about something like that. Like, we just make the assumption that because RJ Harvey was a second-round pick, he's going to work.
No.
Royce Freeman was a third-round pick, top 100 pick, just never really worked out. Devontae Booker was a third-round pick, never really worked out. Javonte Williams, top of the second round, had a good year, never really worked out. So while I believe in RJ Harvey and that it's going to work to a very high level this year, it's still a forecast. Evan Ingram is going on his third team, and he just missed half of a season a year ago. And we're going back to now 2023.
For sure, but you know what?
Still a forecast.
You can say that for everybody, for every team. The Philadelphia Eagles are number one right now when you look at them on paper, but they still have to go out there and play, and people have to stay healthy. And Saquon Barkley, is he going to look like the same Saquon of last year where you go for 2,000 yards? You get older. Things have to work for you. So, like, I do understand that, but when I'm looking at what the Denver Broncos are putting on paper, it gets me excited. So when you say running backs, I agree. Running backs right now are the weakness to this team because you're dealing with a young rookie running back that you hope pans out. But I didn't just put running backs on my list. I said running backs and Sean's inability to be creative. It goes hand in hand. Sean's going to have to help this crew out. Sean's going to have to help Bo out. Sean's going to have to help the offensive line out. How do you do that? You're going to be tired of me saying this. But as a running back, you need creativity. You need those pullers, the misdirection. You need ways to get in the open field, screens, more things where there's fluff so that you have opportunities in one-on-one situations with the safety or a linebacker. That's on Sean. That's on the offensive coordinator to bring the best out of his players. That's something that Kyle Shanahan has done a great job throughout his career with these players, is putting them in the right situations to succeed. Sean needs to do that now.
And after 2 years here in Denver, you're unsatisfied with his approach with the running backs in that way.
I truly am. It's like you've had running backs like Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara, Darren Sproles, C.J. Spiller. You've had some really, really good running backs that did great things for you. Do it with the Denver Broncos because you can. And now that you have a guy like RJ Harvey that you drafted in the second round, so you love this kid, he's going to do that. And I'm excited to see what that looks like. After the Denver Broncos decided to part ways with me, I was looking forward to like another place that I could thrive in. And I thought I could thrive in Sean's offense because he was so creative with the running back.
Sure.
I was trying to get with Sean. It just didn't work out. Sean actually wanted me at that time before I was going to go to Houston. But it just didn't work out. It was they weren't willing to pay any kind of money. They just wanted me to be there because they thought I was a good asset. But I wanted to be there because he was creative with the running backs. That hasn't been the case here in Denver yet, but that's going to change. So right now the weakness is the running backs and also Sean's inability to be creative. Change that, Sean.
I like it. My gut says we're going to see the best of Sean Payton this season. We're going to see the best of him. Or the best we've seen yet, because the first year in Denver there was just some
it was
rust.
Rust. It was a rust.
And it was rough. It was rough and rust. Rough and rusty. Coming off a year where he was completely out of coaching a quarterback he didn't want to coach. Getting used to a brand new situation. He had
making other coaches mad, other players mad. You had the Aaron Rodgers, Sean Payton. Friction. Remember that?
It was chaotic, is what it was. He didn't think he was on the record with a piece, and he thought he was off the record. He was on the record. Calvin Booth was like, it seems normal to me. From Jarrett Bell
like
and USA Today, he had to come apologize. Remember, he had to come apologize. That first year was chaotic. Right, you had the Russell Wilson controversy with the benching and the Players Association get involved and all that stuff. And then year two was much more smooth, but there was still points where I'm like, man, I just don't know what you're thinking there.
And you're talking about as a coach.
As a football coach on the sideline on Sundays.
Football, I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing, Sean? Like, do you need help? Do you need somebody that can be your eyes? But I'm with you. Year 3, no excuses. You brought more talent in. What do you do with it? What do you do with it, Sean? Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
In terms of a weakness defensively, I heard the guys in the morning saying that they can't see a real glaring weakness on defense. For me, I would just say the health of the interior linebackers, the inside linebackers. Yeah. If you had a game today, neither guy would be able to start, right? Dre Greenlaw's hurt before he ever gets started here in Denver. Alex Singleton is now into his 30s, coming off an ACL.
Yeah, I can't argue with it. It has to be the inside linebacker along with still cornerback. We don't know what Jahdae Barron's going to look like. Riley Moss, he has to stay healthy. If he's not healthy, then what? Last year, he hurt us because he wasn't healthy, and when he came back, he wasn't all the way healthy, and he got worked. So I would say I'm not sitting here saying the cornerback position's like lock solid. It's not.
Well, I just want to say this, too. I mean, the guy played 14 games, not 4. So, I mean, I know he got hurt, but, I mean, missing 3 games. If you told me any Denver Bronco, any starter was going to miss 3 games this season, I would sign up for it right now.
But when he did get hurt, what happened?
The defense, the secondary fell
very
off.
Very glaring.
For sure.
And that's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily just Riley Moss. I think it's just the depth, and we don't know what some of like Jahdae Barron, like what is he going to play? Is he going to play nickel? Is he going to be a cornerback? And can he play right now? We just think it's a lot because he's a first-round draft pick. You still got to go out there and produce.
He's going to go out there and produce.
All right.
Fear not.
Fear not.
Fear not. Jahdae Barron has us.
I jumped on your boy Riley. You was ready to fight.
Oh, was I?
You were ready to fight. You said you leave that